What is up, YouTube? It's Soul here, and I am bringing you another little deck profile thing, and this time it is on the Narukami Brawlers. Whoops, I keep dropping cards today. So let's get started. We got the starter, Brawler fighting Draco Kid. With his ability, you can put him into the soul. Your Vanguard, it gets counter blast 1 during your turn when your opponent's rear guard is put in the front row, is put into the drop zone. You can retire, basically retire the column. So you retire the front row with the previous effect or whatever, or when it goes to the drop zone, and then their back gets automatically retired due to his skill. He makes it very good for pressure on those columns, and he just wipes them clean. After that, we'll start off with triggers this time. We have 5 critical triggers because the deck, it doesn't need all that many crits. It does a lot of powerhousing as is, and 5 crits is you can run more, you can run less. It's personal preference. Basically, triggers are always personal preference, but I would highly recommend 5 critical triggers so that way you can make room for draw triggers and some stands to get them extra attacks in. And then after that, we have 3 stand triggers. Wardrobe Brawler. You can retire him during your turn when your opponent's rear in the front row is put into the drop zone. You retire him, and then you retire the unit behind it. So just like the starter, except he doesn't require to be put into the soul. Good to help you legion faster and get rid of columns, and it usually tends to force your opponent to guard often because they don't want to get rid of that column when they see him out in the field, or your starter has been put to the soul that turn. After, we have the standard 4 heals. There's nothing too different about that, so really not much we need to say about that one. And then we have 4 draws. You can run more stands if you so choose to, but the draw triggers really help to get extra cards in your hand, and they help you get the big bangs in here, because this is the big bang deck. They help you get the big bang knuckle busters in your hand, so that way you can activate the cross right skill when you need to, or you could potentially just get the grade that you're missing early on if you pull it early on. So very nice to have. After that, we have 2 10k attackers. 2 is very nice because of the fact that you're mostly using grade 2. This is mostly a grade 2, grade 3 type of rush style deck. You can run more, you can run none at all if you so choose to. But I highly recommend 2 of them to make room for some of the other units that you will be running. And then after that, we have 2 threatening Brawler, Kome. You can choose a card from your hand, discard it when he's placed on rear guard. If the number of rear guards your opponent has in the front row is 1 or less, you can draw a card. It helps you legion faster and get rid of some of those unwanted cards and try to get something better. After that, we have 3 taunt for Brawler arcs. During your turn, when your opponent's rear guard is put into the drop zone and your Vanguard's in Legion, he gets 3,000 power. So he powers up really well. He becomes a really good attacker, really good booster. Especially with this type of deck, because since it attacks multiple units and such, he gains his power on power on power, 3,000 per. He can force your opponent to drop quite a bit, and he can put a lot of pressure on for the game. For this deck, it also has 2 10k boosts if your Vanguard's in Legion, so you can get your Vanguard to the magic numbers. After that, this deck runs 1 Quintet to help your Legion just a little faster early on, and 3 Perfect Guards. Pretty standard, but you can run 4 Perfect Guards, you can run 4 Quintets, you can run 3 Quintets, 1 Perfect, you can run any number that you so choose to. Personal preference on these, but 1 and 3 it helps quite a bit, because usually nowadays these type of games, usually a perfect card is going to save your life more than a quintet, or so I see. After, we have 3 military brawler Lise. During your turn, when your opponent's rear is put into the drop zone and your Vanguard's in Legion, he gets 3,000 power. He's like Tonfa, but except he can hit just a little harder. You can column him up with Tonfa, and it's just a disgusting column. He can hit magic numbers, force your opponent to drop a whole bunch of cards. Get rid of the rear guards if you so choose to with some big numbers, and he looks pretty cool. So, and his Legion's not half bad. After, we have 3 Brawler Yojins. When your Vanguard Legions, choose one of your opponent's rear guards in the front row, retire it. So you get a free retire upon legioning. It's not bad. So 3 of him. You can run more, you can run less. Same thing with the Lise guy. If you so choose, you can swap this guy out for the 12k attackers as well. After, we have 3 Brawler Big Bang / Buster. You don't really need to run 4 because you have the other 6 grade 2s, but you can run more if you so choose to. Of course, you can run less. With this guy, he becomes an 11k attacker if you have a Vanguard with Big Bang Knuckle, and then when your Vanguard with Big Bang Knuckle attack hits, he gets plus 3,000 power into the end of turn. So he can become a 14k attacker just from your Vanguard hitting, which is really, really nice. And then after him, we have 3 Brawler Big Bang / Dragon. When your Vanguard's a hit, when your Vanguard or Brawler attack hits, he gets 3,000 power. Now, I originally thought this was a 12k at first, so I was kind of misplaying it, but I guess not. Which I think they should have just made this one a 12k attacker, because look at him. He looks to be one. He just looks cool. Looks pretty boss. The punching dragons, because they just love to punch stuff all the time. After, we have 1 Brawler Earthquake, not Earthquake. You can count plus 1 card or Brawler in his name. When he's placed on Vanguard or rear guard, you can retire one of your opponent's rear guards in the front row. It's just to get rid of a really pesky card that you might have, or your opponent might have, like a special intercept or something that has when he attack hits and his boosted effects, or anything of that sort. One of him is very nice, more or less, or you just don't run him at all. Personal preference on him. It's really all I have to say about that one. After, we have 2 Brawler Shotgun Blow Dragons. Now, he's pretty good. Granted, this is a Knuckle Buster deck. He's not bad to have as a backup either. You can counter best 2 when he legions. If you do, your opponent chooses 2 of his or her rear guards and retires them. Then if the number of rear guards you have is more than your opponent's, he gets 1 critical. And then he also gets plus 2,000 power if the number of rear guards you have is more than your opponent's. He's good for early game pressure. He can get rid of rear guards, of course, with ease. Just upon legioning, you just kind of best to get rid of 2 rear guards. Very nice for this deck. Very good backup. Very good for final push. And then after that, we have 3 Big Bang Knuckle Dragon. Very good. You can counter best 2 if he's in Legion. He battles the front row, and he gets 5,000 power. And then you can soul blast 1 when he attacks a Vanguard. You can get 3,000 power. Good for attacking the front row. My personal opinion, he's a little better than Vermilion. Probably not. No, because Vermilion Legion, Limit Break 4, there's no cost for it. So I take that back. He has his uses, because of course you can get rid of the front row. I know I say a lot, I'm very sorry. I'm pretty tired. I seem to only be recording in like early morning for some stupid reason, but hey, I really want to get these videos out to you guys. He can really chain with the stand trigger and the starter, so that way you can retire the basically you just I can't even speak tonight either. You can get rid of the columns with ease, no problem, at the cost of 2 counter blasts. Also, you guys to conserve and make your timing right, because you don't want to just spam the ability, otherwise you'll be out of counter blast. And then here comes the main card of the deck is 2 Brawler Big Bang Knuckle Buster. Now you can add one more by taking out the Earthcrack Dragon, of course. But with him, you can counterblast 1, choose a card with Big Bang Knuckle in his card name from your hand, put it into your soul, and then if he's in Legion, he gets 5,000 power, and he can attack up to 4 units of your choice. And then, of course, he's cross-right, so he gets plus 2,000 power. This is really good. You can get rid of the whole entire field at the cost of 1 counter blast and like probably 1 unit or 2 counter blasts with the starter. Good for pressure, cross ride, so he gains that 3,000, or he becomes a 13k defense, and he's just very nice and very cool looking. And then we do have strides, but this is not the stride-oriented version. We have 3 Lightning, Dragon, Knight, Zoras. When he hits a Vanguard, your opponent chooses one of his rear guards and retires it and chooses up to 2 cards from the drop zone and binds them. That's basic. You can run the Knuckle Buster strides if you so choose to. But yeah, that was the Big Bang Narukami deck, and I hope you guys liked it. And this is actually a really short video. Hopefully, in time, I can show you guys a Dimensional Police video, because I might be trading off this Knuckle Buster deck for another DP deck that I will most likely be profiling on. But if you guys enjoyed it, please let me know, and if you have any questions, just be sure to post them in the comments, and I'll be sure to answer them as best you can, because again, remember, I am a deck builder, and I love building decks, and I love helping people out with the decks. So if you have any questions, just let me know, and I'll get back to you. Hope you guys enjoyed, and I'll see you next time.